Welcome back to Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about this Cybertron Metroplex. Will this be the greatest thing ever for Titans, or will it be the end of Titans? Kind of funny, the first Titan was a Metroplex. This Titan comes out. Will it sell well, or will it go to Ross and Ollie's and all those discounters? We'll talk about that. Talk about all the reasons that this new Metroplex is different than the other Titans going forward. We'll talk about this and more coming up. So the original G1 Metroplex was a cool toy, but way massively undersized. The scale did not work. It was not a city bot at all for scale. Then you get into its bot mode, it looks okay, but the alt mode is where it really shines. Now, you can spread those legs just a little bit more, spread them a little bit more, and it would do a lot better. But overall, the base mode was pretty good. Now, courtesy of TF Source, that is my backup when Show Z is out of stuff, so I do actually still use them. But this is their picture of a vintage one that shows it pretty much complete, and it's a pretty good base mode. The bot mode's okay. Fast forward to 2005, the Cybertron version of Metroplex comes out, and I had nothing to do with it. I was really thinking, this is not for me, but I'm not upset. I just won't buy it. It's no big deal. But so many other people did. Collectors got in on this whole trilogy. It's a pretty good cartoon for the most part, but I still wanted a G1 design. Fast forward to 2012, 13, or whatever, and this came out, and I remember it being around $130, and thought it was a pretty good figure, but it was an IDW style, but it still felt enough like Metroplex, an upgrade to G1, and massively large. It was over 2 foot tall, 24 inches, and we're going to talk about this point coming up also. Hasbro followed up with some reused parts here, and then they mixed for $160. So it was $160 to get a Titan, still about the same size, more or less. Trypticon was $160, but the weird thing was Trypticon and Fort Max both went to these discounters, the TJ Maxx's, Burlington Coat Factory, Ross, for around 50 or 60 bucks. Fast forward to today, still years and years later, 160 bucks to get a Scorponok. Now, Scorponok is probably the best Titan they've made because it fills a hole in so many collections. Masterpiece collections, mainline collections, even Legends collectors buy this to put next to their Legends figures because it works so well. But this figure here really is an amazing figure that is embraced by all collectors. Now, I'm starting to think this Black Zarak is made in much smaller quantities and it's going to be hard to get down the road, so I grabbed one because I think it looks cool. Somewhere in there we got a $160 Omega Supreme. Now, this was the largest shuttle mode ever, but it's still pretty cool. It looks pretty good. A lot of collectors were mixed because for about the same price, you get the Masterpiece DX9 version, maybe a little bit more, and it is superior, but then again doesn't quite scale with the rest of your Titans. It was smaller than your other Titans, and there's the debate on that because he's not truly a city bot, but he's a Titan, and he looks good, and now he's getting hard to get. So we get into this guy. So before I say anything else, I want to say this does look good. For what they're making, the media they're targeting, it looks great. It actually looks fantastic. It is spot on for a Titan class figure for Cybertron. And I gotta say, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not interested in it at all either. And there is part of the problem. I'm going to get into all of this. But the figure does look good. If you are in on this, if this is your era, you should just embrace it, buy it, love it, and enjoy it. But if it's not your era, and you're not in on this, you're not missing out. I mean, you're not going to miss out on anything. And when I get into these talking points, please, if you like this, don't let me talk you out of it, because you're going to get some joy out of it and all of that. But a lot of my history with dealing with Titans, well, I'm going to tell you everything I know. First problem is the price. Now, the price on this thing is $200. They originally said that they're going to make an increase in the Titan class price to $189.99 or whatever, so $190. So it's $10 more than the increased price. I don't know of any Titan class figure that's sold for $190 other than scalper or artificial increases. This is not the official MSRP on anything. This was supposed to be the $190 price point. Now it's $200. $10 more, not the end of the world. It's not so bad with what's going on, all the crazy nonsense and stuff. But it's a point. It is a point because there are so many other factors involved. Next up, it's only 22 inches tall. So the original Metroplex that came out for $130, in fact, I think it was $125 at places too. And then I got mine on a buy one, get one half off sale, and they were less than $100 a piece. But this guy's going to be 22 inches tall. The original Metroplex was over 2 feet tall, and it is not going to give you as much as you got with even the first release. It had electronics, it was bigger, more massive, more add-ons, and then this thing here for $200, you get less. That's a problem, right? So next, the biggest problem is it's not G1. If they would come out with a G1 version of Metroplex that matched the G1 on-screen counterpart exactly, and even if it was the toy version made bigger with more articulation, it would sell like hotcakes. I mean, they would have to do multiple production runs. They would, literally, like they did with Scorponok. Scorponok had multiple production runs because it was that freaking popular. But if they did this with Metroplex for a G1 version, same thing would happen. I don't see it happening here. Here's what I see. This is the alt mode. Now, I have no idea. When I saw this picture, it's the first time that I ever saw an alt mode to the Cybertron Metroplex, because I didn't care. I passed on it, had no interest. And I watched a few episodes of the show. I was like, it's alright, it's okay, but it's not for me. And neither was this when it was at retail. Now here's the thing. If you love this thing, if this was your bread and butter growing up, then still enjoy it. Go all in on this Titan class and love it. Enjoy it. And don't let me steal your thunder. My brother hates Transformers. He has no idea why I like Transformers at all, whatsoever. He was 4 years older than me and had no interest in Transformers, but to this day I love Transformers, but he hates them. So I understand how you can be in the situation where you love something that a lot of people do not, but I don't see this here. When I see this design, the Titan, the original release from 2005, I see the Auto Scout. That's what I see. I'm like, oh, that looks like the cassette Auto Scout. That's interesting. That's cool, whatever. But I don't see a Titan class figure. So here's the packaging for this thing. Now, this is Transformers Legacy, and they're going to do whatever they can under this brand. Now, if this does not perform, how many more Cybertron figures will they make? You know, when they develop these figures, they're looking 2 or 3 years out. So if this fails, we might still see several more Cybertron figures that come to market and fail before they correct course. So that's kind of how it works. And doing this for 26 years of collecting and seeing how things go on, I see that we might see a lot more Cybertron stuff just to double down on it, try it, see how it works. But if this ends up at your Ollie's or your Ross or your TJ Maxx, don't be surprised. Here's the back of the box, kind of showing you what it gets. And it's kind of lame. It does not get very much. You get this weapon that splits into two pieces and all that. And I guess that's the original and how the original worked and all that. But you don't get a companion figure. You don't get much of all with this thing at all. It is surprising how minimalistic this is for the highest price point Titan we've ever seen. And it's only 22 inches tall, super duper scrawny. The mass is less than even Trypticon, which Trypticon was short. He was like 18 inches tall. But he had the mass. This does not have that. Lastly, I want to say that all of the Titans started with Metroplex. Metroplex came out, he was IDW style, and I did not like the style, but I liked we got a massive Metroplex that sorta resembled a G1 in a way. Now, I always figured, and I double, triple, quadruple down, that we were going to get a G1 version eventually. And instead we got this one. And I gotta say, I sold all of the 30th anniversary, Thrilling 30, whatever you call this one, Generations versions off that I had, triple, quadrupling down on getting a G1 version, and we don't get that, so here I personally sit with absolutely nothing. Nothing but a couple of the G1s, and I gotta say, the G1 design, I'm a G1er, and I really want to see it happen. We're going to really test how strong the G1 community is, how large of the market it is. Is it 50, 70, 80% of the Transformer collecting market? Well, it's somewhere around there. So what do you think about this release? Are you in on this? By the way, if you're in and you love it, say it. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. If you like this, say you like this. Say why you like this. I watched the show. It got me into Transformers. There's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about or even to hide about. If you like it, get it. If you're super duper disappointed because you're a G1er like me, then I'm sorry, but this is what's going on. And I gotta tell you, I will pick this up for $50 at a discounter because of the fact that it does look cool. It looks cool, but it's not for me. I'm not going to display it. I'm not going to do anything with it. It's just going to be in a box somewhere. And I got to say, I'd go into more detail about this thing if I knew more or cared more. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. The Hanger out.